Hello, my name is Tanya Morning Star Darling, and I'd like to share with Rising Wines Collective today a little bit about the notion of terroir. What is terroir? This potentially intimidating term actually encompasses something really beautiful, the symbiosis between people and nature, which is the essence of the definition of quality wine. Wine is a product of a working collaboration between people, grape, and place. Quite simply, the term can be translated to mean the soil, but the notion of terroir is so much more wonderful than just that. The concept of terroir is something that's been in development in winemaking cultures for about 2,000 years and applies to every place where quality wine is produced. Wine is a natural product, but it needs the accumulative expertise of people to be born. For this reason, I like to include not only the natural environment in a definition of the term terroir, but also the expertise of people who observe and collaborate with nature to make wine. You can think of the grape as the liaison in this collaboration. The grape is part of nature, but people select the grapes to be used based on their characteristics and how they're best suited to the environment and the soil. So you can think of the term terroir really as an alchemy of the natural environment, the expertise of people, and those things interpreted through the grape to become wine. When we talk about the natural environment, the first thing to consider is the overall climate of a region, which can be broken down into four main climate categories. Continental, land without the influence of a body of water. Mediterranean, land that is moderated by a large body of water with a dry growing season. Maritime, land that is moderated by a large body of water but with a wetter growing season. And alpine, land that is moderated by the cooling influence of mountains and elevation. However, within climate, we have many moderating factors such as bodies of water, as I mentioned, aspect or grade of the slope, which is important, wind, climate blocking mountains, and even vegetation can sometimes fit this category. And this means that depending on these specific factors, climate can be broken further down into three subsets. Macroclimate, which is the overall climate of a region. Mesoclimate, a smaller area where vines are planted, which is moderated by specific elements, as I mentioned before. And microclimate. This is one of the most misused terms in all of wine geekdom. Most often people use this term and they really mean mesoclimate. Microclimate is actually the specific set of circumstances just around the vine canopy itself, which is influenced by all of the things I just mentioned, but also more specifically by how the vine is trained to take advantage of these natural elements. Soil is also very important, and although recent scientific discovery tells us that the nature of the soil does not directly translate to taste. For example, chalky soil doesn't equal chalky taste in wine. However, the nature of the soil is urgently important to the final character of the wine. And its impact on the finished wine is so much more interesting than simple correlations like chalk equals chalk or flint equals flint, etc., in the final taste of the wine. Perhaps you've heard of the term, the vine likes poor soil. This is because the more well-drained and poor the soil is, the more the vine has to struggle to make its fruit. And this makes sense because this means that the plant concentrates all of its energy here in the fruit, which is actually the part of the plant that bears the seeds and ensures the plant's survival. So many other elements of the soil actually also influence the vine as well, such as whether the soil stores heat or not, which impacts the metabolism of the vine and the vine's ability to photosynthesize sunlight, which determines ripeness in the fruit in the end. All of these elements contribute to what makes a wine unique. But finally, we cannot exclude people from our definition of what gives wine its identity, because it's people who interpret all of these factors and make the choices in the vineyard and in the winery which harness all of these natural elements to tell their stories in the glass of wine. Cheers.